Welcome back to another GeekaWhat video. In today's video, I'm taking you over the best $1,000 gaming PC build for the months of October and November 2015. This build is easily capable of smashing the latest AAA titles at 4K, 30 to 45 frames per second, as well as 2K, so 1440p, along with 1080p at 60 to 100 frames per second, high settings in the latest AAA titles. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the build. Now, I always use an i5 for my $1,000 build purely because an i7 is overkill for gaming, and the i5 will not cause a bottleneck, and because they're great value. I do love Intel i5 range of CPUs. Comes in at $245 for the 6600K. It's their brand new CPU on the Skylake architecture, which supports better overclocking as well as DDR4. They're sort of your main features. This CPU is really good. It's overclockable, comes out the box at a healthy 3.5 GHz. So if you don't want to overclock, then you don't have to, but a really solid CPU choice. If you didn't know, the i5's the new Skylake CPUs, which are the overclocking variants of the K SKU, the K series of CPUs with the little K after the number. They don't come with a stock cooler, and that's because they presume that if you get going for the unlocked versions, the ones that can be overclocked, you are going to be overclocking them. Now, there isn't a locked version, so there isn't a non-overclockable version yet. However, this does not include a CPU cooler. So I went for the beast of a CPU cooler of the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo. Now, don't let its price make you think it's some wimpy little cooler. It is not at all. It is a staple within the gaming PC industry and is the most renowned CPU cooler on the market for any CPU socket and any CPU. Really solid for $25. For the motherboard, I went for the ASRock B150M Pro 4S M80X LGA1151 motherboard. Now, the LGA1151 is the important bit, as that is the new CPU socket required for Intel's brand new Skylake architecture CPUs. Motherboards are more expensive, so in a month or so, or in even a couple of weeks, this motherboard is going to go down in price quite a bit as competition sort of fires up, if you like, within the Skylake scene, but it's a really solid micro ATX LGA1151 motherboard with all of the functionality that you need. For RAM, I went for the Corsair Vengeance LPX 8GB to 4GB DIMMs, which will run in dual channel mode to provide some more performance to the CPU and the GPU to do better in gaming. It comes in at $60 and is really good value. I think it looks absolutely incredible as well. You can get it in blue, black or white, I believe, as well, if you to go with whatever colours you prefer. However, the red one ties in perfectly with the SSD and with the graphics card in this build, and for $60 you cannot go wrong. For storage, I went for the best of both worlds, an SSD boot drive, so your C drive, as well as a huge mass storage drive for all your games, movies and music. The SSD I went for is the Kingston SSD Now V300. I've said this many a time before, but you may have heard about controversy about the some of the older Kingston SSD Now drives using a bit of a weird controller that people aren't too keen on. However, with this V300 drive, they have rectified that issue and have changed the SSD controller, and for $45, this is an incredibly fast, incredibly great value solid state drive. For mass storage, I went for the Seagate Barracuda. It's a 2TB drive in a 3.5-inch form factor, 7,200 RPM, all your standard stuff, fast as hard drives get, and this will have insane amounts of storage. This has got 4 times the capacity of a next-gen console, so an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, and that isn't overkill. That just purely means that with all your Steam games, if you haven't been PC gaming before, you won't know that you can get loads and loads of games really cheap in comparison to what you can get on console, and it just means that you can have all of your games on this hard drive for as long as you actually have the computer, and that just means that if you ever have the urge to go and play an older game, the flexibility is there because you've got over 2,000 GB of storage. Really solid hard drive for $65. For the video card, I went for the killer MSI Radeon R9 390, and by killer I mean absolute killer. This is on AMD's brand new 300 series architecture, and it's their one but highest end card. You can get the 390X for another $60 if you do want a bit more performance. However, this card will smash later AAA titles at 4K. It's got an 8GB frame buffer. That's the same amount of RAM that we've got in the build. 8GB of VRAM, which is incredible. It comes in at $314, which is insanely good value. You can get a 3.5GB GTX 970 for only about $40 less. So this is a really incredible card, and MSI makes some really nice looking cards, really quality looking backplates, so the card isn't going to sag, but really nice, really nice quality card. For the case, I went for a little bit of a personal favourite of mine. It's the Phantex Enthoo Pro M. It's an ATX mid-tower case. The motherboard is only a micro ATX motherboard, which does mean you're going to have a little bit more room to play around with and get all these finicky connectors in. And for $85, I think this case looks really good. Phantex are new to the case scene and are a newer manufacturer of cases that some people won't have seen more as case manufacturers before. However, they do a really good job and have got some really nice polished products. And for $85, this is a great value and a great outstanding piece of case. For the power supply, I went for an 80+ gold certified fully modular EVGA Supernova NEX. It's 650 watts and this build does only consume 466, meaning if you do want to upgrade that graphics card or add another one in for Crossfire later on down the line, you've got plenty of wattage to do so without replacing the power supply. The fact that it's fully modular means you only plug in the cables that you need to, saving you space and clutter, as well as increasing airflow and meaning you've got less cables to manage and have to worry about. It's a really solid power supply, and 80+ gold certification means it will run above around 90% efficiency at all times, which will save you not only money at the wall, but also make your system quieter as the PSU is under a lower load. And that is it for my epic $1,000 gaming PC build for the month of October and November 2015. If you build this build or any of the builds linked in the card section above, tweet me a picture at GeekaWhat and I'll be sure to like, favourite, comment, follow, whatever you want me to do, retweet, whatever you want me to do, I will be sure to do it. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, comment, rate, and please do subscribe, and we'll see you in the next GeekaWhat video.